Last week we passed out some pages. Who has, who doesn't have? Yeah? You left yours at home. I can't believe it.
I used to get punished in school for that all the time.
I will never.
Then it was on purpose.
What do you think I have extras for?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go on. Go on.
This process you talked about here is pretty.
Yeah. Last week we did a little meditation. We closed our eyes and we imagined the home that we grew up in. It lasted a few minutes. I asked everybody to go to their front door and go inside the house and then look at the rooms and whatever you see. And for most people, it's pretty easy. Am I right? I mean, for you, it was okay? You were able to see your house? You see the details? Almost any detail you want to see, you can go there, right? Just go there, right? So the idea, as we're going to start now, learning the second part of Inner Space, which is all about Nevuah. So Rabbi Kaplan held, he had reason to hold so, that the whole renewal, the reinstatement of Nevuah. Somebody's trying to get in the house. Oh, they're in. Okay. No, he's in. Okay. The whole reinstatement of Nevuah is not just going to be like, okay, everybody, be Nevi'im. Nobody's going to know what to do with it. You have to have an inner life first of all. Even before the Nevuah comes, you have to have some idea. Who am I? What is my neshama? What am I in relationship to my neshama? So that's why in our generation, a lot of this stuff is being revealed, so to speak. The Zohar, the Ari, the Baal Shem Tov, the Ramchal, the Gra, the great masters who took this stuff all very seriously and then took us back to the Sefer Yetzirah, and to the Zohar, and to the Bahir, and took us back to Yecheskel and to Yeshayahu, and took us back until we started to get some eyes to be able to see who Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov were, to see who Moshe was. So, and you have to learn somebody who's closer to your time, and then go back with the eyes that they give you, and you go back and appreciate like all the stuff that came before that you thought was just like stuff. But it's not just stuff. So Rabbi Kaplan consistently urged people to go into meditation, and he brought out his books on Jewish meditation, on all the different types. He made a big point. He dedicated his life to opening up that whole door, to our generation. So this particular book, Inner Space, has been out for how many years? And a lot of people have read it. And then there's all the other stuff also. But this, the drisha, what he wanted was that you would go from here to here. You would go from here to the places where he went. This is Shari Kedusha, parts 1, 2, and 3. This is Shari Kedusha with a lot of other stuff also, part 4. So we have some of that we have one of the pieces from here translated. It was Hebrew English. I can't help but always bringing new things in, so I brought in something even more today, one page, to kind of build on the meditation that we did last week, and it goes like this. All advanced Kabbalistic Kavanot Kavanot are really what's are directed meditations, right? It's a whole area that we'll have to understand. And if I mechaven myself towards something, I direct myself towards something, right? If I mechaven my guitar, I'm aligning the notes of my guitar, the strings of my guitar, so that it can play a song that it won't be like that. I won't want to close my ears. So the chaven is to align and to tune, and it's also to direct. So Kabbalistic kavanot are based on our ability to move our consciousness from below to above and from above to below, from inside to outside, from outside to inside. So meditation is a practice towards being aware of where my consciousness is, where my concentration is. So I say, if you ask, how do we do this? Do we lift our, if I want to go up, do I lift my eyes up? Do I lift my head up? Do I begin by raising up my eyes behind my eyelids? Okay, nothing wrong with that. Do we lift our head up as well? It could very well be the best way to begin. We always start with the body. So as a meditative practice, when you think up, you begin by raising your head up as well. When you think down, you lower your head down. Eventually, you'll be able to think without moving up and think down without moving down, without activating a corresponding physical motion. You can train yourself to use your mental or spiritual muscles. So I learned about this when I was in a workshop once of a practitioner who did what's called the Feldenkrais method. His name was Moshe Pinchas Feldenkrais. He was a Polish Jew who came here not long after the Qumran Medina. He came here to work on a kibbutz, and during that whole time when he was here, he created a system of getting really deep into a person's body to help them heal. So when I was at maybe you read about this in my book, if you read my book on the meditation, when I was in one of these workshops, they told us lie down on a mat, and it said move your shoulder, move your shoulder. So we moved our shoulder. So then they said, okay, now move your shoulder without moving your shoulder. And we all said, what do you mean? Move your shoulder from the place that the movement generates from your brain without causing the physical movement. So, wow, that was interesting. Where's the real place of the movement? In the brain. I thought it was in my shoulder. So simple things. It's all over the world right now. Simple ways to become aware of who we are on the inside, to get our breathing in a way that we can actually be aware of our natural breathing. Some of us are closed off since we're children from being able to breathe normally. We don't have our own voice. We don't have our own breath. We're literally outside of ourselves. We're literally closed down in certain places. So meditation could be very healing as if it's guided properly, to become self-aware and also then to be able to rectify certain things that were wounded when I was growing up. So then I say, I have this, I can give it to you. It's just a simple page. So the point is to get back to the pages that we gave out last week. There's more than enough here. This next paragraph, the fourth paragraph from the top, is where I bring down the idea of the meditation on your house, your home. You can practice moving your consciousness by focusing your mind on and paying close attention to what you see with your physical eyes. Then you close your eyes and visualize internally what you saw physically. Let's say you saw a ball. You now close your eyes and see a ball. Envision the ball being thrown a great distance. In thought, you can retrieve the ball in mid-flight. You can even see yourself meeting someone you love. You can see yourself as you were as a child. In such a guided visualization, you can make amends with the pure child within you. You can meet your higher self. You can meet and converse with your great-grandfather and grandmother. You can ask them to intercede for you in heaven. You can meet your spiritual teachers. You can see yourself standing in heaven with all the souls of all the generations, intensely aware of being in the presence of Hashem. All this and more can be done in visualization. So in itself, even the simple visualization of a ball can be very helpful. Here we're using it to learn to move or cast our consciousness up. For it isn't the ball we threw. When you close your eyes and you throw a ball, you're using the ball to do something that is not physical. It's a very interesting way of looking at things, and it occurred to me that that even technology, which is a whole theory of technology that I bring out in one of my spiritual technology, is that technology is something that used to be inside of us and has been externalized. And so the proper use of this technology, whether it's a computer that connects me to the World Wide Web, is to use this to connect me to the World Wide Web within. To bring back into myself what used to be part of the human psyche. Because the truth is that this type of thing could not exist outside had it not existed once inside. All these are latent potentials that were externalized into external technology, and as a result, the inner technology became cut off. What do you call it? The dried up. So you use images that you can have from technology, and you can use them to re-internalize. You can even use the image of looking through a telescope. You can use the image of seeing a screen, the top of your consciousness. You can use these things, and they become practices with which you can do something, and then you throw away the screen because really the screen was just making it easy for you. Because again, when you start to get into spiritual things, which is the second thing on this page, and it starts getting hard, I can't do it, I can't keep the letter in my mind, I don't know if I can meditate on letters. Well, wait a second, you were meditating on a ball a second ago, like what's the problem? No, it's hard. So the practice with the easy is a preparation for the hard. So before we go to the bottom of the page, it's there for you. Let's go to this amazing thing that we learned last week, which was the thing on page, it's the third page of the set, and it's the Rabbeinu Yonah. Rabbeinu Yonah on the Rif. I didn't put the page, but it's page 22b in the Rif of Brachot. Anybody knows such things. The Rif there is it's a sweet of the sweet. He brings the Gemara from Yevamot 105, that when you pray, you should lower your eyes and you should direct your heart up. All right. So the Rabbeinu Yonah took this as a meditative directive, that you should put your consciousness up in the Beit Mikdash above. And we get that because of Yeshayahu, the 6th parak of Isaiah, where it says, I saw Hashem sitting on a throne, high and exalted. Right? And you take that from Yeshaya, and you internalize it, and you utilize it to picture yourself above. Like we said, with all the souls of all the generations, or your grandma and your grandpa, or some image of Hashem as a king and a queen. The archetypes that we have inside of us, we can use every single one of them, grandma and grandpa. Right? It's a little bit harder than seeing your home at home, your front door, and the hall and the bedroom and all that stuff. But because you can say, well, I've never seen the Beit HaMikdash above. Well, maybe we have, but we just have forgotten. So we want to revive that memory. So what the Rabbeinu Yonah tells us is to, when we're praying, is to imagine ourselves praying in direct relationship with Hashem. You don't have to have a visual image of God. It's okay. But it should be almost like a place. And when you practice this, maybe not here, not right now, maybe it's a little bit too difficult to do it on the spot, but you can practice going up. And then he does this amazing thing. He says, look down at yourself back where you were sitting in the physical world and imagine yourself in the Beit HaMikdash in this world. And I thought that was amazing. I'm going to all the trouble to get upstairs into heaven. And then from that upstairs in heaven, I look down at myself and I see myself in an imaginary Beit HaMikdash. I guess they had nothing else to do. They didn't have any movies. They had these great things to do with their mind. But it wasn't just playing a game. It was like they literally said, oh my goodness, by going up and connecting myself up to my higher root, even if I don't even know how to do that at first technically, but I'm just trying, I can see that my own life down here, my mundane life in this physical world, is much holier than I thought it was. That's what I see here, is that I'm using my heavenly consciousness to look down on myself here in this world and to see that my life here is transformed because I'm connected to my soul. And if you do it more and more, then you have more and more the perspective, the reference point above to look down at your life and to be able to live your life from a higher perspective. Again, it's not going to happen in two days, but it's an avoda pinimi, it's an inner work that the Nevi'im worked on in order to be able to live in two worlds at the same time, until those two worlds joined so much that they were living in a state of higher consciousness at all time. In other words, there's almost like an actual thing you can do with yourself that eventually unifies your higher self into your lower self right here, right now, right, without drugs. So you see the Rabbeinu Yonah from kind of the middle line. It says, visualize yourself. It's like 5 lines from the bottom of the paragraph. Visualize yourself standing in the Beit HaMikdash, which is below in this world. And in Hebrew, when you want to when you've attained this level of thought, this being that you see yourself in heaven, divest your body from off your soul, and then once you've gotten to this level of thought, so you visualize yourself standing as if you're in the Beit HaMikdash, which is below in this world. Then you've gone full circle, you've started here, you've gone up, you've raised your consciousness up, which again becomes an actual feeling you can feel when you're doing this over and over again, and you're using the muscles for going up. You can lift your head up, and then you can bring your head down. You're using muscles that have, right? And you come back into your prayer, and it's a transformative prayer now. Imagining that you're standing above in heaven at the same time maintaining the consciousness of heaven down here below, in the very place where heaven is most revealed. Okay. I think it's something you can read over and over again, and you should always look at the Hebrew. The English is just secondary. The next page. We'll do them not in the order they're written here. The next page is page 2. The title of the page at the top is Developing the Imaginative Faculty, Koach HaMedameh. So the bottom of page 2, it says Rabbi Chaim Vital wrote in the name of the Ari. So this is a very, it's Shari Kedusha, called Shar Gimel, the part 3, Chelek Gimel and Shar Hey, 3-5. And he gives you a context here within which to begin. He says that all of our souls come from above. And when they're up there, they're all together. They're all undifferentiated. There's no, I call it being in kindergarten. It's like we go back to where we were before we became independent entities. We go up the tree of our soul, and we go back and we root up to some time in the past when we existed in the infinite Ein Sof itself. We did not have any individuality. So he says we've explained that there's a single coherent light in Or Echad, which is called the light of the quarry of souls, or Machzav Nishamot. There at that exalted level, all souls that have descended below, Kol Nishamot Hatachtonim, all the Nishamot, the souls that have descended below, Klulot Sham, they're all included up there in oneness. Ubiridatam ba'olam hazeh, and then when they came down, lehitlabesh begufot, to dress up in bodies, right? Each one of us, minichot shoshehem dvukot bimkoram asher misham chutzavu. Every word here is very special. He got a huge thing here. If you want to see the English, at the top of page 3. As they begin their descent towards this physical dimension, everybody have the same page? Top of page 3. It actually has a 3. It has a 3 on the top of it. Number 3. As they begin their descent towards this physical dimension to become clothed in physical bodies, their roots remain attached to their source, from which they were hewn, and from which they continue to derive their sustenance. Because he used the metaphor of a machzav, of a quarry, the quarry of souls. So as the souls come out, as you take a stone out of the quarry, something remains in the quarry that's called the root, because it's a mixed metaphor. The root is a vegetative tree metaphor. And you're connected to that even as you come all the way down and come into your body. So you can see that he's going to lead to here, he's going to see that there's almost like a branch, and the branch can be described as a golden thread, which is the branch of your soul, and it's a long branch that comes all the way down into your physical body and fills you, but it rises up from you. First of all, it surrounds you also, and it goes up from you, and you can imagine it going up and connecting into a trunk of a tree. And it's not by chance that the tree of life, which is the system of the 10 Sfirot, is described as what we would call in this world an upside down tree, that where the branches are down here, and as we go back up to where the branch connects back into the trunk, then we go up inside the trunk, up into the root system, which is up, 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 up. And that's what he's going to do in a second. In the meantime, he's just telling us now that as our neshama left its place above, it leaves, or it left part of itself. It remains attached. And it says only the branches of these roots, in the sense of that our souls root up into a tree, only the branches of these roots descend by extending downward until they become clothed in bodies in this lower physical dimension. In this, they resemble the branches of a tree, again, an upside down tree. Or in this case, he means it doesn't matter, because they're also a willow tree where if the branch hangs down far enough, it comes all the way down. And if you touch the bottom of the branch and you shake it, you can shake the tree all the way up into its roots, whether the roots are in the ground of a physical tree or the spiritual tree. It's a very famous thing of the Baal Shem Tov, that you, from where you are, knowing that you're connected to a higher system and that your life is not a disconnected entity, that you can have an effect on the entire system from where you are. So it gives you a responsibility. In other words, to break open the consciousness out of this illusion that we live in, that nobody knows my thoughts, that I'm alone, that I'm in here and nobody knows who I am, and I don't even know who I am, is that somebody does know who I am because he created me. And he wants me to know that I'm connected. So he's giving me a metaphor of a tree, and then it's going to open up in far beyond trees, but it's going to be that somehow it's going to open up, that I'm going to begin to know that I've been sent down here. You've been sent down here. We've been sent down here. So has to start simple. That it has to be an inner awareness that there's something in me, like I was hearing from you before, Yochanan, about Ner Hashem Nishmat Adam, that Hashem's candle comes all the way down, the light of his candle comes down all the way into me, becomes my neshama. Chofes Chadrebaten. It's with that candle of Hashem, which is my neshama, that I look in the rooms of who I am. And I say, like, what am I doing here? What do I send here for? What am I supposed to be doing here? Right? And when you ask a question like that, you're opening up a doorway to receive the information that's going to help you understand why you've been placed in this world. And every one of us has to do this. So this is like an incredible inner work that's going to take 150 and 20, a long time. But don't give up, because that's what it is like. Just begin to know that that's what all the Nevi'im did, all the Chachamim did. As we also mentioned last week, if I did mention it, I'm sorry if I didn't, the Piazetzner has this sefer called Mevo HaShe'arim. I didn't bring it in because I forget. In which he says, even though we don't have Nevuah, he quotes Rav Chaim Vital that the whole thing of the Nevi'im was dveikut. It was nothing to do with knowing the future or anything like that. They were totally into knowing what Hashem wants of me now. And he says that essence of avoda, that essence, there's no better word than English doesn't do it. So the essence of avoda of the Nevi'im still exists. So forgive me, but with your permission, we're continuing on Rav Chaim Vital. So they resemble the branches of a tree. The neshamas, each one of our neshamot, resemble the branches of a tree that comes down from the trunk. The branches are attached to the trunk, but when they're bent over, they can touch the ground, even though they're still attached to the trunk of the tree. This is the meaning of the verse, Ki ha'adam etz hatzadeh, man is a tree of the field. He brings here one thing I didn't translate. It's interesting, but not for now. It's just a little two lines that I Dafka left out. So he goes on. V'zeu sod ma shekatuv b'tzadikim shenichpal shmam. It's also the mystical reason why the names of some tzaddikim are doubled in the Tanakh, such as Abraham, Yaakov, Moshe. There's actually only one more. His name is Shmuel. He doesn't bring it here. So in one point, when Avram is about to put the knife to his son's throat, Hashem calls him and says, Abraham, al tishlach yadecha el anar, va'al ta'as lo me'uma, ki ata yadati ki yirei Adonai, ki yirei Elohim ata. Don't touch this. Don't touch the boy. Don't even do anything to him. He calls him Abraham. Yaakov, when Yaakov's about to go down to Mitzrayim to see Yosef, Hashem calls him in a dream, Yaakov. Moshe, when Hashem is about to reveal himself to Moshe at the burning bush. So each one of those has an incredible context. And Shmuel, anybody know the Shmuel one? You want to tell us?
That Ali is sleeping.
Yeah.
He's hearing a voice that Hashem is speaking to him.
Yeah, it's an amazing scene. He thinks it's Eli. He wakes up in the middle of the night hearing his voice, hearing Eli's voice calling him. He goes to Eli HaKohen Gadol in Shiloh, and he says, "You called me? Abba," even though he's not his Abba, but he became like his Abba because Chana brought him there and dedicated him to the Mishkan. No, I didn't call you. Go back to sleep. Second time. Third time, Eli says, go back and this time say to Hashem, Hineni. That's a beautiful scene. Hashem calls Shmuel in the voice, using the voice of Eli. Moshe is, Hashem calls Moshe, and Moshe's first response is, Abba, because Hashem used Amram's voice to call Moshe. And then we know that what Moshe said from Hashem's answer, Anochi Hashem Elohei Avicha. I'm the God of your father. But I came to you with your father's name not to scare you. Hashem, please come to us. Teach us. So these four instances of these doubled names, they're awesome. The Midrash says that when somebody is called by their name twice, Hashem loves them in this world and loves them in the next world. So the Midrashic meaning of Olam, in this world and the next world, Midrashic meaning is that when you leave this world, Hashem will love you in the Olam Haba. But Kabbalistically, Olam Haba comes before we came down to this world. That's what the Ari is going to teach us now. The first name corresponds to the root that remains on high, attached to the tree. While the second name is the branch that descends to become clothed in the physical body. This root is called a person's mazal. For sustenance constantly flows down from this upper root, into the branch that has descended, become clothed in a body. One more thing there, and then he's going to get to how to use this in your meditation. One more thing, the upper root of the soul is extremely high and exalted, originating at the very pinnacle of the universe of Atzilut, whatever that means. We come from up high. And that's another big thing with a person. If you lived your life until now, think you're just you. And then you meet a tzaddik in Yerushalayim or Bnei Brak or in New York or Johannesburg or whatever, somebody who's really worked on themselves. And they say, you have a very high soul. I hope everybody has heard that, because you all do. But if you haven't, I want to tell you all right now, your souls are very high. And in fact, all the souls of our generation are very high souls. And the fact that we're in a very low position now does not really reflect on who we really are. It's an amazing drama that Hashem has created, that we actually volunteered to come down incognito. What does incognito mean? What's incognito? What is it, Latin? Incognito means I dress up and I go somewhere and nobody knows who I am. But this incognito is I don't know who I am. So we don't know who we are. We are combinations of sparks of very, very exalted souls. And they sent us down here to do undercover work. So much so, if we would know who we are, we wouldn't be able to do it. So they had to make the condition, you'll forget who you are. You will go into total amnesia. Amnesia, I love the word in English because it comes from the Hebrew. Nishia. Nishia is oblivion, is total forgetfulness. You don't know nothing. And that's why Yosef called his first son, Menashe, Kinashani Elohim et bet avi. Hashem has allowed me to forget that I have such anger at what my brothers did to me. So I'm now living a life, and I have my wife, and Hashem has given me to be able to be the head of Mitzrayim. Nashani Elokim et bet avi, Nashani, Menashe, amnesia. So the condition for coming into this world is forgetfulness, is falling asleep. So the upper root is extremely high and exalted, originating at the very pinnacle of the universe of Atzilut, which means that we have a job in this world that comes from the highest level of Hashem's plan. While the branch is extremely long, descending down through all the universes until its lowest extremity becomes clothed in a physical body. Do this in Hebrew with me. V'hinei hashoresh hu elyon me'od, barosh rum, olam ha'atzilut, rum, the highest level, the peak, the pinnacle of olam ha'atzilut. V'ha'anaf, in the branch, aroch me'od, it's very long. Mitpashet, it streams down, it comes down, it beams down. B'kol olamot, through all the worlds. Ad hitlabesh, until it dresses up. Hitlapshut is a foundational concept in Kabbalah. That something is mufshat, means it's divested, it takes off its clothes when it goes up, and it comes back down into its clothes when it comes down. So this is very important in meditation, is that you mafshit yourself, you divest yourself from all of the things you identify with to get to your core in order to come back and to dress up again. But then when you dress up again, you dress up now and there's more light coming in. There's a halacha in the Ben Ish Chai that he brings in the first page of the Ben Ish Chai. He says that when you can take off, if you have a coat on and a sweater and an overcoat, you can take them all off at the same time. But don't put them on at the same time. Because why? Because every garment has an or makif. Every garment has to have its own surrounding light. You don't want to squish the or makif of your garments. It's put each one on separately. So I'm learning from this that when I come back down from a meditation, slowly come back into yourself and put on each garment separately, and allow the or to come in and also to surround the garment. And what are garments? Our garments are our midot, our emotional states, our mental states. Let some air, some light come inside and surround me on the outside, and then put on the next one, and then inside and the outside, and the next one, until I put on all my clothes. I come back into all the concentric circles of my life, right? But now, I at least the way I look at it is now I know what I need to do in all these various different relationships that I have. Whereas before that, I was angry, or I was stuck, or I was hurt. Now I come back, wow, that was so important. This is not new things to you. So he says at each level, the branch leaves a subroot, since such that there's no soul in existence that did not have roots extending back and up to the infinite source. באופן שאין לך נשמה, שאין לה שורשים, לאין קץ, זה למעלה מזה. Every one of us has stations that we've stopped at on the way down, And those almost like Abraham leaves Eretz Israel and goes down to Mitzrayim. He stops at this inn, stops at that inn, goes to this inn, goes to that inn. He borrows some money here, he borrows some money there. It's a hard time. He comes back from Egypt. He goes back exactly to the same places that he was. He pays all his bills so he can get back. And the Zohar says he's on a much higher level now than he ever could have been, because by virtue of the fact, Dafka, he went to Mitzrayim. Not the Ramban, which is in the Zohar as Rabbi Yehuda, but the sheet of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai is, he says, no, yesh chochma b'davar. There's a reason why Abraham had to go, because that's how he became Abraham. Yitzhak had to go to Gerar. Yaakov had to go to Lavan. They had to go into the depths of the darkness of their own being, as well, of course, as contacting the outsider, in order to become the great people that they became. You can't be what's called an ivory tower tzaddik. You can't be a, whatever. So, I don't know if this is the way to teach, but whatever. It's a nice text. You have to admit, right? It's a very rejoicing text. You could be happy. Look at you come from very high up. You come from Rachel Imeinu. Look what you do in your life. You've dedicated your whole life to Rachel Imeinu, to Ima. God bless you.
And her bad children.
Her naughty children, foolish children,
Evil.
ad kedei kach, that they do evil things. You've been hurt a lot. Okay. And then he adds a little thing here. He says, through a person's deeds, he can be worthy of rising up to all of them. In other words, you can reconnect. And then it gets into not here, but it gets into what is neshama yetera on Shabbat. Does somebody else's soul come into us on Shabbat? Some people will tell you yes, but really it's another and a higher aspect of your own soul. And then every time it leaves more of a trace of a residue, and you get more neshama, that you come back into the week with more neshama, until you begin to attain levels of the higher levels that you left behind as you came down into this world. Or another way to say it is that when we're born, we're only born, the Ari says in Shar Gilgalim, we're only born with the lowest and most unrectified parts of our soul. Every time we come down in a lower form than we came down in the last incarnation, because whatever was good we did stays upstairs. Well, wait a second, that's not fair. Why would it come down every time it gets worse? So the answer is, if you do something down here, you can start bringing that stuff down and embodying it here. It's not for nothing that you did that in a past lifetime. But this lifetime was given to you to work with certain things. And when you do, you start your rectification process, which is a lifelong process, then we'll start giving you tests. But the tests are to refine you and to strengthen you and to give you challenges in order to get to who you really are. Because just like an athlete has to jump over a bar, he jumped over it. Okay, we're raising the bar. Wait, what are you raising the bar for? I can't jump that high. At this point, you cannot. You're right. You're going to completely fall on your face. But we're going to get you to the point where you can jump over that bar. Wow, you're going to help me do that? It's going to hurt, though. Okay. Next, now he goes, and he has this very interesting thing. He says, based on the above, we can now understand the way that nevuah works. Oh, והנה יתבאר עניין הנבואה, בזה יתבאר עניין הנבואה. צריך להפשיט נשמתו, you have to take off your body, you have to take off from your body. You have to rise up with your neshama out of your body. Mikol v'kol, totally divest. Ulahafrida mikol inyanei hachomer, divest and separate your soul from your physicality. Okay, that's already leaving all of us out, it seems like. You're making it too hard. How can I do this? So Yom Kippur is coming. We'll do it on Yom Kippur. On Yom Kippur, we take off our bodies. Remember, at the burning bush, Moshe Rabbeinu was told to take off his shoes. So the Mekubalim say that meant that he took off his body. The shoes are described as the body is described vis-a-vis the soul, just like the soul, the shoes are described vis-a-vis the body. Only the bottom part, the bottom extremity of the soul, of the body, is in your shoes. Only the bottom part of your neshama, the branch, right, comes into your body. So they say it by Moshe. They say it by Shaul when Shaul was chasing after David, and David was in Ramot, where Shmuel is now buried. And Shmuel had a B'nai Nevi'im yeshiva there. He had a yeshiva B'nai Nevi'im, the Nevi'im yeshiva. And David had gone there to run away and escape from Shaul. And Shaul sent soldiers after David to get David. But as they approached the circle was that the Talmidim, including David, were sitting in a circle, and Shmuel and Avi was standing. And they were mitnab'im, they were prophesying. We don't know what that means, but they were meditating. So as the soldiers approached, they couldn't do their work. The energy field from the circle, three regiments or three whatever groups of soldiers went up. Shaul decided, I'm going to go. I can't trust any of these soldiers. As he gets closer to the circle, he takes off his clothes. He falls flat right in front of Shmuel and Avi, and he's out for 24 hours. And in that state, so there's three levels of what it means he takes off his clothes. Literally, in the Meforshim, he went crazy. 2, he took off his royal clothes because he knows in the state of Nevuah that he's not king anymore. And 3, he took off his body. Somehow they all fit together. And the fact that Shmuel and Avi can stand while he's in Nevuah means he's closest, the Ari says he's closer than anybody to Moshe Rabbeinu, Shmuel and Avi. And it's a Tehillim, Friday night. Whatever you see, though, this idea of taking off the body is very interesting. So why do we take off our shoes, lahavdil, when a person is in mourning? Because the person we're mourning for has just taken off their shoes, their body. Why do we take off our shoes on Yom Kippur? And why do we say Baruch Shem Kavod Mahoto Le'olam Va'ed out loud, like the angels do? Because we're stopping eating, we're not anointing, we're not drinking, we're not having marital relations, and we're not wearing shoes. Whatever, the 5 things. Anointing, washing, drinking, marital relations, must be shoes. Well, okay, my memory is. Yeah. So it's not out of our. It's not like something we never heard of that before. You must divest and separate your soul from your physicality. You may then bind yourself to your supernal root. Okay, so there's obviously a lot missing here, but we didn't come here to actually do more than connect to it. Then he has this very strange note. He says, of course, this divesting that you will find mentioned in all ancient works dealing with Nevuah, הנה אין עניין ההתפשטות הזה שתמצא כתוב בכל הספרים בענייני הנבואה ורוח הקודש, אין התפשטות ממשי. Not literally taking off your body. You shouldn't understand it literally. Oh, thank you very much. שהנשמה יוצאת מגופו ממש כעניין השינה, as if the soul doesn't actually depart from the body as it does during sleep. He says, she'im ken, ein ze nevuah ela chalom. If so, this wouldn't be nevuah, there would be common dreams. believe me, I don't know where he's coming off from this. I understand a little bit, but it's like it's not such an absolute thing that how this works. But he is trying to make a point that you're not literally leaving your body, so don't freak out. Rather, Ruach HaKodesh rests upon a person when he's awake and his soul is in his body. So what then is involved in divesting the soul from the physical? So he says about Inyan et Pashtut, who divesting is Yasir Kol Machshavotav Legami, cessation of all thought. Okay, again, you lock this out again. How am I going to stop all thought? And Ba'koach HaMedameh, and the imaginative faculty, Shabo, Shu Koach Nimshach Me'nefesh Haya, Hayesodit, Shabo, Yafsikehu, Milidamot, Belachshov, Beliharher, B'shum inyan, Minyineh ha'olam hazeh, B'ki'ilu yatz'ah, Nafsho mimenu. Oh, this is a hard one. The imaginative faculty derives from the aspect of the soul that dwells in the blood, must also be stopped from conjuring any images or daydreaming or thinking any thought associated with the physical world, as if your soul has departed. So this is what Rabbi Kaplan calls here in the jacket. Look at this, listen to this. And you have the old one? No, I have the old one, the first one. Yeah. In the second part of Inner Space, Rabbi Kaplan explores the text of Ezekiel's vision of the chariot. He reveals that all prophecy stems from meditation, which enhances the ability of the human mind to experience the spiritual. He details the training a prophet undergoes, the beginning of which involves prophetic disciplines designed to free one's subconscious and reconnect one's spiritual center to the part of the mind that produces images. It's still not clear. What he's going to tell us here, we just did a kind of a restatement of what the Ari is going to tell us, is that I have an image making movie maker here. I have a movie machine. I'm constantly seeing pictures. Some people are aware of them, and some people are so unaware that they think that they never see pictures. They think that they don't even dream. So wake up, everybody. We all see images in our mind. Our memories function not with words as much as with images. Our subconscious works in images. And it's a profound idea because it keeps us occupied. And so to divest yourself and to free yourself from that is a pretty big job. And a year ago, maybe more, in this room, we spoke about how when you map the Torah onto yourself, that this is Mitzrayim, this is Egypt, your bottom part here. And this is the desert, and this is Mount Sinai. So Moses was born in Egypt, but he was able, through the training that he got in Egypt, to be able to get out of Egypt and go up into the desert. And he had the burning bush experience where he took off his body and Hashem electrified him and gave him his highest mission. And Hashem said to him, go back to Egypt. And he said, oh, I'm going back there. Not me. Not me. That's not me. Not going back there. Hashem said, no, the whole reason I bring you out here is that you should go back there. And that you have to deal with Paro. Oh no, he's the movie maker. He's the movie maker. He's the one who keeps everybody busy with those movies that he makes. You're going to go and you're going to shmeiss Paro. And you're going to take the children of Israel, which are the Midot, who are trapped in Paro's film, you're going to bring them up to the desert to experience God. This is my favorite stuff. I hope you enjoy it like I do.
What do you experience in the desert?
The desert is famous for where the prophets all went because there's no physical stimulation. It's like, whoa, you just look at the clouds. You look at you look around you and you know there's a God, right? I mean, obviously there's more to it than that, but so So my point here, at least, please, we'll deal with this, and if there's anything here that interests you, so we'll deal with it more, but Paro is the movie maker, and it's very hard to get the Bnei Israel out of Egypt and to divest ourselves from that movie maker and to reconnect, as he says here, what is the exact language he uses there? So let's look and see it inside. What is he telling us to do here? First of all, he's telling me to do something that's very hard, seemingly at first, right? I have to stop conjuring any images or daydreaming or any thoughts. I have to become aware of my thoughts and separate myself from my thoughts and observe them, which is just basically classical meditation. Breathe, be aware of my breathing, be aware of my thoughts, and don't go with my thoughts. But that's just the beginning. It's called mindlessness. Not mindless in the negative sense, mindless. I'm entering my mind and I'm trying not to be connected and to go with my thoughts, but rather to be aware of my thoughts. Bottom of the page, page 3. At this point, you can use the power of your imaginative thought. We're not throwing it out. Just because we said a second ago that you have to stop conjuring doesn't mean we're throwing out the koach medameh. No, we're only disconnecting it from the lower center, from Paro, to reconnect it to the higher centers of the neshama. Because the imaginative faculty is what Yeshaya uses when he goes up to the Beit HaMikdash Shomala. It's what Yechezkel uses to see the Merkava. It's what, oh my goodness, very useful stuff. You can use the power of your imaginative thought. He says, transform, you turn over, you reverse your koach medameh, your ability to image. Machshavto lidemot v'letzayer. You use it now to imagine, to envision, and to visualize yourself. Litzayer ki'ilu ole ba'olamot, as if you're going up in the worlds. B'shorshei nafsho asher lo sham, to all the levels of the sub-roots that you've leapt up there when you were coming down. To go up and to visit, to revisit, like Avram revisited all the inns that he visited on the way down. He's going back and revisiting the sub-roots that he left in the various different worlds on the way down when he was coming into this world. You're just using your imagination to do it. It's just like imagining your house. You're just using metaphors of trees and lights and various different things. You can multi-metaphor. You don't have to stick with one. You know what you want to do, though, is to connect to the Ribono Shalom, to the Master of the world, and you're being given a kindergarten level of how to do it. And you ascend into the supernal universes, to the subroots of your soul there in each one, ascending from one to the next, mizeh lazeh, until you visualize yourself arriving at your uppermost root. Ad shehigia tziur dimyono b'makor shelo ha'elyon, your uppermost root. We're almost finished, but then we have to do it. V'yichakek, now you're doing an amazing thing. V'yichakeku tziurei kol ha'orot b'machshavto. Now allow the impressions of the objective reality of the lights there to be engraved in the subjective reality of your thought. First reading is impossible. Don't even think we understand it. So the yichakaku, they'll be engraved, the tziurei, the images of the orot, of the lights, they'll be engraved where? In your thought. Ki'ilu mitzuyar, as if you are visualizing, viro'eh, and seeing, otam, them, the lights, the upper lights. Kifi derech kocho hamedameh, in the same way that your imaginative faculty visualizes things of this world, L'tzayer b'da'ato inyanei ha'olam hazeh, even though you are not seeing them at the moment. Af al pi she'eino ro'eh otam. So you can use your imaginative faculty to see your house, to see things that are familiar, to go and speak to your dad, to speak to your mom, to speak in somebody who's in this world, to speak to somebody who's in the next world. Maybe you can even try an experiment. Is if your parents live in Chutz La'aretz, or if you have any relatives in Chutz La'aretz, have a meditative conversation with them beforehand, a deep conversation, to give what's going on with you. When you're telling somebody, you're utilizing a technology here. You're telling somebody else in your mind about your life. All right? It forces you to articulate what's going on, and it's easier because it's like when you're writing a letter. You can't write a letter to the world, but you can write a letter to Joe, to Shmuel, to Moshe. And when you write to Moshe, it's much easier than writing to some vague nobody. That's why writers very often will use somebody they know who knows them and to write to that person, because it's like it flows more easily. It breaks the blocks. At any rate, you do this in your mind, and you tell them about yourself, and you ask them about themselves. And you do this as a real meditation, and you talk to them, and you see what they say, and you try and feel what's going on in their lives, where a lot or a little, and then call them. Can you do that? Yeah.
Isn't that the same thing as thinking about someone out of a clear blue, and a minute later their email comes up?
Yeah.
I mean, someone that you're in regular contact with,
Sure.
somebody you haven't heard from, or who's is that the same thing?
Yeah, my old friend David Zeller, Alav Shalom, David said whenever he took it to the others, he said, how can you not get a call from somebody when you think of them? It's real stuff. Real thinking is a power. So what the Mikubalim do, the tzaddikim, they understand the power of thought, and then they don't want to misuse it on. They don't want to what it's going to squander it. They want to use it for what it's really meant for. That's why they learn their Torah in such a way that they learn it. So again, what we're trying to do is to reclaim the treasures of our self. Let's just finish this before we break off. We just said that we are, just as we visualize something that's in this world, even if it's not there in front of us, but we can close our eyes and see it. So the lights of the upper worlds, and that's a very vague term in a sense for some, and for others it could be everything you need is this lights. Orot, right? The orot, the lights. Whatever. So then he says like this, V'az tachshov v'yichaven. Only then should you direct your thought and intend likabel, or to receive light, min ha'eser sfirot me'otah nikuda asher shorish nishmato ne'chezet sham. You should direct your thought and intend to receive light, meaning to say you're asking Hashem, please, I want to receive light from the point of the upper root of my soul that is bound and connected to the 10 sfirot of Atzilut. Whoa, what a beautiful idea to give as a gift. Please teach me how to daven. Not davening in the siddur. That comes later. Once you daven like this is a hitbodedut type davening, and even a special kind of hitbodedut davening. Then you can go into the siddur and say the Shema, and it's different, and do the Amidah, and it's different, and do Ashrei, and it's different. But you need to do it outside of the siddur first, because the siddur itself has a lot of words, and it's confusing. You have to get the inner experience of it first, and then utilize it with the davening, because the davening itself, in my humble opinion, comes from these experiences. Okay. So you intend and direct your thought to receive light from the point of the upper root of your soul that is bound and connected to the 10 sfirot of Atzilut. Then with the power of the light you receive, intend that you are elevating the 10 sfirot up. You're not only going now to get light for yourself, you're going to now do something of a more universal purpose. You're going to elevate the 10 sfirot. You're gonna imagine in your mind the 10 sfirot, and there's all kinds of ways to do it. So there's no one way. You're gonna lift up Malchut all the way to Yesod. You're gonna lift up Malchut and Yesod all the way to Netzach and Hod. You're gonna lift all four of them up to Tiferet, and all of them up to Chesed and Gevurah, and all of them up to Chacham and Bina, and all of them up to Keter. It's just simple. It shouldn't be with too much religiosity. You're just doing a little technical work here that needs to be done when you want to lift up all the sfirot up into where they came from. And by doing that, you're using the external technology, which is some imaginary lights in your mind. And you're elevating the 10 sfirot up, each lower one to the one above it, all the way to the infinite source. In Hebrew, לקבל אור מן ה10 ספירות מאותה נקודה ששורש נשמתו נחזת שם, ויכוון להעלות גם את ה10 ספירות זו לזו עד האין סוף. It's very simple. Don't be afraid by it. Don't be taken back. From that high pinnacle, now draw illumination down to them. וימשיך להם הערה משם עד למטה, all the way to their lowest extremity. עד למטה, דרך ירידה עד סופן. Bring now light into the 10 sfirot from the very top all the way to their bottom. כאשר ירד האור על ידו אליהם, and so as they become illuminated with light, הם שמחים בזה, they'll rejoice, ומאירים, and they'll shine, מאותו האור שהמשיך אל שורש נשמתו הנאחזת בהם, כפי החלק הראוי לה. What does this mean? As they become illuminated with light, they will rejoice and shine, an aspect of the very light that you have drawn to them into the point of your soul root that is bound to them according to its capacity. Very interesting. You can look at this a few times. I want to draw light down from the top of the world all the way down. Rav Chaim Vital himself writes in one place, when you go up, you have to be like a shliach tzibor. Don't just think of yourself. You have the entire world, all of the Jewish people. You're trying to connect, not just for yourself, you're trying to connect to Hashem for everybody. You're going to get what you need, but you should also intend that everybody gets what they need. Don't think small. And we now read the last paragraph. Afterwards, as you descend from level to level, intend to bring as much of that light and sustenance down with you to illuminate the intelligent soul that resides within your body. Continue drawing it down to the lower aspects of your soul, to the physical soul, and the imaginative faculty that derives from it, so that an actual image of those lights will impress itself in your mind by the power of your imaginative faculty. In this way, you will understand them, these spiritual realities, as if you have perceived them with your physical eye. And I have to tell you that Rav Yitzhak Isaac of Kamarna we're going to do next week. And a lot of it he actually repeats from Chaim Vital, but he allows himself to open up throttle even more. He's very experiential, the Kamarna. He was like very profound. He was like not closed. He was not constricted. He just says it like it is. So do it yourself, please. But that's what we're going to do next week if I don't fumble the ball. Okay, thanks. Let's sing a song. It's very hard work. Purim is here. In the Schut of Purim we did this. And so keep this page also and look at this this meditation. Look at the whole thing. Do your homework. Come back. You don't need me, but you need to connect to the Makorot, to the sources. Na 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 So when you get a chance and you're lying in your bed or you're sitting in your sofa or you're sitting on a chair or even in the middle of davening Shachrit, you want to stop for a minute and say, I thank you, Hashem. I want to, Mamish, thank you so much. I want to connect to you. I want to go into a deeper state where I can really actually feel connected to you. All these lights and 10 Sfirot and all that, it's nice, but really, Hashem, all I want is you. If you want me to do the 10 Sfirot also, I'll do that. But really, all Hashem, all I want is you. Please. And not just me, Hashem, every single one of us. They all want you so much. You just get into that place where you can talk to Hashem. Okay. Okay. Zaku Baruch.